On Thanksgiving, my sister revealed I had $12.6 million. Now my family's demanding I fund her future. I said no, so they turned on me, but they have no idea what I'm about to do next. Hey Reddit, before we start, I just want to say that we are very close to 3,000 family. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and be a part of this growing community and subscribe us to touch the 3,000 milestone before the end of this month. Let's start the story. Thanksgiving has always been a strange time for me. It's one of those holidays where people put on plastic smiles, cook way too much food, and pretend for a few hours that the rest of the year didn't happen. In our family, it was always about pretending. Pretending my parents' marriage wasn't cold and transactional. Pretending my sister Alina wasn't a manipulative, spoiled brat who could do no wrong. Pretending that I, the oldest child who went my own way, wasn't a disappointment for not choosing the nice, predictable life of office jobs and holiday cards. Every year I stayed away, citing work or distance, and nobody seemed to mind. But this year, for reasons I still can't explain, I showed up, I wore a basic sweater jeans, and drove up in my used car. I brought a bottle of decent red wine and a store-bought pie. Nothing flashy, nothing to hint that I was worth more than $12 million. I walked in, got a few polite nods from my parents, a fake hug from Alina, and the usual dismissive glance from my aunt and uncle. The cousins were on their phones, already half bored. It was like stepping into a high school reunion where you knew everyone hated you, but they had to act civil because there were mashed potatoes on the table. Dinner went fine at first, small talk, a few strange jokes, my mom criticizing how I cut the turkey, the usual. Alina waltzed in late, like she was a celebrity on a red carpet wearing boots that probably cost more than my entire outfit. She air-kissed everyone, took selfies at the table, and loudly talked about how she was building her brand. I kept my mouth shut. I had no interest in being part of her drama. I just wanted to get through the night and maybe feel a shred of connection to these people who shared my DNA. But of course, that was too much to ask. We were halfway through dessert. I was literally mid-bite into a piece of pecan pie when Alina stood up, tapped her wine glass, and said, "I have a little announcement." My stomach immediately dropped. She smiled at me like the devil himself. Then in front of everyone, she said, "You guys ever wonder why our brother here never talks about his job? It's because he's sitting on 12.6 million. I saw it with my own eyes, crypto stocks, whatever. He's rich." It was like someone hit pause on the room. Forks stopped moving, eyes widened. I could feel every heartbeat in my chest as silence swallowed the table. And then just like that, the floodgates opened. "Is that true? Wait, seriously, why didn't you ever say anything? You let us struggle while you hoarded millions?" I looked at Alina, smiling smug, her arms crossed like she just won. She wasn't just exposing me, she was setting the stage to make a move. I tried to breathe, tried to process the sheer violation of it all. I hadn't told a soul about my finances. Not because I was ashamed, but because I didn't want this. I didn't want to become a target in my own family. I calmly asked her how she found out, and she just shrugged. "You left your laptop open when I stayed over last month. I saw your account. You should really use better passwords." Then she laughed like it was some hilarious prank, not a blatant invasion of privacy. From there, things spiraled. My parents, who had spent years passive-aggressively belittling me, suddenly had opinions. "You could have helped us when we needed it," my mom said. My dad asked if I'd finally consider investing in something meaningful like the family. My uncle, who once called Bitcoin a scam to my face, said I owed it to the people who raised me. But it wasn't until Alina made her pitch that I realized how deep this betrayal went. She stood, hands on her hips, and announced, "Now that it's out there, I think it's only fair that you help your baby sister out. I want to buy a house, something classy, not too big. Oh, and I need some startup money for my influencer brand. I've been planning it for months. You'd be investing in my future." I looked around the table, expecting someone to speak up to tell her she was out of line, that asking for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, wasn't family. It was extortion, but no one said a word. They just looked at me, waiting, expecting. I laughed. I couldn't help it. A raw, bitter, humorless laugh. I told her, and everyone else, that the answer was no. Not maybe, not let me think about it, just no. My money was mine. I earned it by grinding when no one believed in me. I didn't owe anyone anything, especially not someone who broke into my private information and Broadcast it for attention, and that's when they turn. My mom's face hardened. How can you be so heartless? My dad muttered. We raised a selfish little man. Alina rolled her eyes. You wouldn't be where you are without us. Even my cousin started piling on, so you're really not going to help her. You don't even have student debt. You could fix all our lives. I stood up, I looked at every single one of them and said something I had been holding in for years. You only care about me now because I'm valuable to you. Not because I'm your son, your brother, your cousin. Just because I'm useful. That's not family, that's opportunism. I walked out, I didn't take leftovers, I didn't say goodbye. I left that house with shaking hands and a broken heart. Not because I lost anything, but because I finally realized I never had it to begin with, but it didn't end there. Over the next few days, the guilt trips began. Texts, emails, social media posts. My aunt posted a passive-aggressive rant about selfish family members who forget where they came from. My cousin messaged me saying, "Don't be surprised when nobody's at your funeral." I even got a voicemail from my dad saying, "You're going to regret this, blood is blood." And Alina, she doubled down. She started tagging me in posts about supporting women in business. She even posted a selfie with the caption, "When your own brother has $12 million and won't invest in your dreams, but you're still smiling." Hundreds of likes, tons of sympathy. People who didn't know the full story calling me a villain. They thought I'd bend, they thought I'd break. But what they don't know is that I've been preparing for this moment my entire life. And now they're going to find out just how cold I can be when I'm forced into a corner because I'm done being the quiet one. I'm done playing nice, and what I do next, they won't see coming. After I walked out of that Thanksgiving disaster, I went straight home, locked the door, turned off my phone and sat in silence for hours. It wasn't just about the money, it was about what that night revealed. A truth I had been too stubborn to face for years, that these people, my so-called family, never saw me for who I was. I wasn't a person to them, I was a backup plan, an emergency fund in human form. The minute I became useful, they saw me as a resource to exploit, not a brother, not a son. For a few days, I tried to let it go. I stayed off social media. I ignored the calls. I told myself they'd cool off, realize how entitled they were acting, and maybe apologize. But they didn't. Instead, they got louder. My aunt, who hadn't spoken to me in years, unless it involved gossip or asking for tech help, started posting nonstop about selfish family members. My uncle messaged me directly to say I was an embarrassment. Alina posted a sob story on Instagram about how she was being emotionally abused by her brother, who refused to support her dream. I saw comments from strangers calling me a narcissist. One even said, "I probably stole the money." Some of my extended family jumped in to show public support for her. It was like a coordinated smear campaign. Then came the real kicker. My parents called me to say they were disappointed. Not disappointed in Alina for violating my privacy. Not disappointed in themselves for feeding the circus. Disappointed in me. My mom actually said, "You could fix all our lives with a few checks. Instead, you're choosing to punish us." My dad said, "You think you're so smart, but money doesn't last forever. One day you'll come crawling back to us." That was the moment something inside me broke, not in a sad way, in a liberating way. The chain snapped. The illusion shattered. I realized I didn't know them anything. Not even my silence anymore. So I made a decision. I scheduled a meeting with my financial advisor and my lawyer. I changed every password, transferred my crypto to cold wallets, reorganized my real estate holdings under a new trust. I even removed all family members from my emergency contact lists and set up a detailed will. And then the final nail, I had my lawyer draft letters to every single one of them, clearly stating that I would no longer be involved with them financially, legally, or emotionally. Any further harassment, public or private, would result in legal action. I didn't send it with emotion, I sent it with precision. It was surgical, clean, unapologetic, and the reaction was nuclear. Alina lost her mind. She posted screenshots of the letter online, claimed I was trying to ruin her life, called me a bitter, greedy brother who hated women. She spun a narrative that I was jealous of her success. The same success she was begging me to fund just weeks ago. My inbox flooded again. Threats, hate. One cousin even said, "You don't cut off family, man. That's sick." But I didn't flinch. You see, when you grow up in a family that only values you when you're useful, the most powerful thing you can do is become unavailable. Not angry, not emotional, just gone. I blocked every number, deleted every contact, moved to a new city. Quietly, no goodbye post, no warning, just disappeared from their lives. I built a new routine, new friends. I started volunteering, anonymously donating to causes I cared about. Not out of guilt, but because I wanted to. I started living for me. There were moments I sat in my new apartment staring at the ceiling, wondering if I had made a mistake. Loneliness is tricky like that. It sneaks up on you. There were no birthday calls, no family traditions, no lazy Sunday catch-ups. But when I look back at what those interactions had always been, transactional, hollow conditional, I realized I didn't miss the people I missed. The idea of them, the version of family I had created in my mind, but never actually had. I even went to therapy for a while, something I never thought I'd do. I unpacked the years of emotional manipulation, the guilt tripping, the subtle gaslighting masked as love. My therapist helped me see that walking away wasn't abandonment, it was self-preservation. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm, she said. That line stuck with me because for so long I had been doing just that, burning myself down piece by piece so others could feel comfortable. And slowly life began to rebuild. Real connections formed. People who liked me for me. Not for my money, not for what I could offer. Just me. Flaws, silence, boundaries, and all. I started sleeping better, laughing more. I found joy in the smallest things. A coffee with a friend, a morning walk with no phone. The quiet comfort of not having to look over my shoulder for the next betrayal. It's been 6 months now. I haven't spoken a single word to any of them. And you know what? I've never been more at peace. No guilt, no pressure, no noise. They wanted a piece of me. They tried to guilt me, shame me, break me. But in the end, all they got was silence. Because the truth is, family isn't about blood. It's about respect. And the moment they lost that, they lost me forever.